Good evening and welcome to Savage Universe. I'm here, JM, talking with Justin of Strange Machine Games about their very successful Kickstarter that just ran for Savage Worlds, Robotech. Now, I am a huge fan of Robotech. I remember watching the cartoon. I've rewatched it several times, or the anime, and I came to Robotech gaming very early on, so I'm very excited that there's some great Savage Worlds content for Robotech. Justin, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries at all.
So why don't you introduce us to Strange Machine Games, the Robotech Kickstarter? Give us the whole 9 yards and rundown.
Sure. Strange Machine Games was kind of put together by my bosses Jeff and Darius out in Baltimore a couple of years ago, and relatively fast growth. And Robotech was one of the first licenses. I think it's the only licensed work that Strange Machine Games has gotten its hands on, and uh, Jeff and Darius were real passionate about getting Robotech and uh, getting it after the events that had befallen it in recent years,
Yeah.
and putting together a system for it. But as they were putting together a custom system for it, they came to a conclusion that they didn't want to just produce like their own unique system for it. They wanted something that would also massively appeal to all other kinds of fans. And they looked around at different systems and they said, Savage Worlds is the system that, if we want to support two forms of Robotech, Savage Worlds is where we're at, because it's a easy to play, easy to pick up universal system
Yeah.
that's quite near and dear to a lot of people, and it's got an amazing range of support.
So had you played Savage Worlds before this, or had they? I mean, what
They
was
had
their
played Savage Worlds.
okay?
They played it extensively and thought it was great. I actually hadn't played Savage Worlds until very recently. Uh, so I was actually brought on about halfway through our second book as a writer, and I came in because on that book they said, "Look, if you want more Robotech, do it yourself." To which I said, "All right, I'll call your bluff." And I finished that book for them, and then I basically found myself as the project director for it, and now among the stars in its Kickstarter. And inclusive in that is our Savage Worlds Omnibus, and that's kind of got a very tragic tale on why that is now something that I am managing and writing for.
Okay.
Uh, so we had originally sub-licensed out to a company called Battlefield Press Incorporated.
Hmm.
They've done some Savage Worlds books before, which are really cool. I think uh geez, I've had a mind blank on what one of them were, but they did do. I think they included some of the stuff in the Kaiser Gate as well, or in the Kaiser Gate Kickstarter. I'm struggling to recall a memory because my brain is so focused on Robotech. But yeah, they were working on it, and we had trusted them to go and deliver the Savage Worlds for all the Savage Worlds fans out there for Robotech, and help bring that experience. And unfortunately, they were struck down with quite a heavy tragedy.
Oh,
The owner of Battlefield Press became quite ill towards the end, after they produced their first Macross book, the Macross Adventure book.
yep. You
Um,
remember that?
yep. And we thought it was an okay book. We definitely there was some miscommunications there, and we were helping them to improve uh, books quality, rebalance some of the rules, help them out for their next batch. But as we were going through this with them, unfortunately, Jonathan Thompson passed away, um, and we were suddenly left with a situation of, well, our friends at Battlefield Press, like, the company's passed to his brother Adam, and he's trying to keep the company alive, keep his brother's dream alive.
Right.
And we've got all these fans out there who, have picked up the Macross Adventure book, and they've picked it up for Robotech. And Robotech isn't just one saga; it's multiple.
Right.
And so it was a case of, well, what can we do? Because we don't want to abandon the Savage Worlds system and version of the game. So what we decided we would do is we would take charge directly, and we would work with one of BPI's writers, and we would produce the Omnibus, which was part of the Among the Stars Kickstarter. And I originally wanted it to be a massive, sweeping book that covered everything Robotech, like everything. Uh, I got told to tone it down a little bit.
Well, I mean, Among the Stars covered the Sentinels and the Hayden Knights and the Invid and the UEEF. Like, there was a lot just in that Kickstarter, let alone the Omnibus.
Exactly, and it was a case of, ooh, I really want to include the Sentinels and Shadow stuff in the Omnibus as well, but I was unfortunately, yeah, yeah, couldn't quite convince the higher ups of that. So instead, the focus is on, in the Omnibus, retreading the original three sagas and then sneaking in as much as I can from Sentinels and Shadow.
Yeah. Venkel's like the Shadow Chronicles. I'm like, yep. Yeah. And that's something, right? Because Robotech in the, if I remember correctly, what is Robotech in the US is actually multiple different things that kind of got
Yeah,
re-edited and re-pieced together for, kind of a, hey, let's get something out for the US. And then now we've been able to go back and kind of see them in their own individual parts and how they all fit together.
and sometimes it's better than others.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
with
that's
sagas like
exactly
that,
how it
it
came
is,
about.
yeah.
Because yeah, it originally started as its three constituent shows for Genesis, Climber Mospeada, Super Dimensional, Southern Cross, and Macross, which
Yes.
is the only one of those shows that's still going. And um, yeah, they're each got their own little charm, but they all go off into various different directions. Whereas what Robotech did with them is it very weirdly did the thing where it created something almost entirely new from three random Frankenstein parts,
Yeah.
which is really awesome. And what we got, and Sentinels and Shadow Chronicle is the parts where it actually starts going to US original content that
Yeah.
it was being made for it, which was unfortunately a little ill-fated in history, but there were still novels, there were still comics, and so we were able to draw from that. And there's a bountiful world in Robotech just filled, and the goal is, I got this question a lot during the Kickstarter about what Sentinels and Shadow content is going to come after the Omnibus, because of course, as I mentioned, the Omnibus, I was told to rein it in a little. But after the Omnibus is delivered, we're going to continue developing the Savage Worlds line with more supplements to give those further things from Sentinels and Shadows that we couldn't get into this one. And yeah, with further focused books that BPI is going to be handling more mainstream in terms of development. But yeah, I'll still be there to help them out.
Excellent. Well, you guys just had a real successful Kickstarter that included the Savage Worlds Omnibus. I'm going to put the link up here. I assume as
Yep.
soon as the pre-order store goes live, anybody who's following the page can get. You'll put the little pre-order store live button that will take them to that.
Yeah, the pledge manager will go up for that, and then pre-orders will be handled as well when the book comes further out, and they'll be available on PDFs through Drive-Thru RPG, and our books are physically carried by Amazon now through Flat River. So
Oh, awesome.
um,
Well, you had some art that we were going to get to show off, so I'm going to let you kind of walk us through what we have here.
Yeah, I was in a bit of a tight rush, so I kind of slapped basically whatever art I could get, which is, funnily enough, going to almost be my approach for constructing the omnibus, because it's going to use a combination of all the art we've constructed. And I mean, like I said, I'm going to sneak as much of other content in there, because the timelines in Robotech get a little interesting, because,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in this art piece, all the stuff you're seeing here on screen is stuff you'll find in the omnibus, but you'll only find in Among the Stars for our other system. And this is because these things existed during the time periods uh, that the omnibus is covering. So I'm able to show this off, because you've got hover tanks there from the second period, from the Master Saga,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which are in the omnibus. Of course, they're one of the stars, because they're one of the mecha, the transforming Veritech tanks used by our heroes in the second saga. And then you've got this GMU, which is one of my favorite things creatively for players to have fun with. It's a landcraft carrier, essentially, that serves as just a fun mobile base. And so you've got a host of weapons, and it's a little too large to use the vehicle rules. So it serves as very much a setting piece that is this mobile base for the players. It's equipped with everything
Awesome.
they need, hangar bays, but they can operate all the weapons around it and make use of all of its features as well.
So John Doom has a great question. As somebody who is unaware of this IP, what makes Robotech fun to play? So I'm gonna let you field that first, Justin, and then I'll fill in with kind of my rabid fanboyness after the fact.
So Robotech is immensely fun to play if you are a fan of a couple of things. Three things, basically: anime, mecha, and war dramas. With
Mm-hmm.
those things combined, you get a Robotech experience, which is typically fast, fluid. You switch back between these epic conflicts between species and races across globes and planets and galaxies. You've got an amazing array of mecha and materials with alien races that come together in this hugely expanded world, all going forth on driving political drama, personal drama, all sorts of crazy interactions you could have, and it's rife for exploration, with both on a, let's go out into the galaxy, but also let's look at the human condition. And your GMs have the tools to tell amazing stories, and it's incredibly a lot of fun personally for me to have that experience and share that experience. And I
Yeah,
think a lot of players are going to enjoy that as well.
and the hook is in the near future, this alien spaceship crashes on Earth, and we're able to retrofit quite a bit um, with the knowledge that, hey, one, we're not alone in the universe. Two, those people are way more advanced than we are, and three, they're probably coming for us. And so
Yeah,
the
three,
war,
they're probably not nice.
yeah, the war drama is humanity has just now started to leave the planet based off this technology when the Zentradi attack, as was tossed out earlier in the chat. Um,
Mm.
and are there sing mechanics? That is a great question. Are there singing mechanics in the game, Justin?
So there are some interesting interactions with singing, because obviously something that we've strived for in every iteration of Robotech is to make all elements sort of matter, because it's one of those things of you have sort of obviously things like the older Palladium version, where it was very much more focused on the combat and military side of things, where, like, that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to give a more holistic approach where you can explore those other things. So yes, there are different kinds of interactions evolving from singing and, uh, doing all sorts of things like that. You've got Zentradi, who are partially not resistant, vulnerable to sonic attacks and music. You've got some races who are easily swayed by certain kinds of specialty musical instruments that
Hmm.
like affect their mind through subsonic frequencies. So you've got this, and you can manipulate song and music as entertainers to do a host of things, inspiring your allies and also demoralizing your enemies as you confuse them with what the hell kind of pop music you playing. Which really, being as Entradi is basically just being someone older listening to whatever the modern music
That's
is.
right.
Um,
So Venkel had a question. Will the adventures be cross-compatible out of the book, or are there going to be some conversions needed to play the Savage World edition?
uh, so there were some adventures that we've produced. They're primarily for uh, our primary 86 system. So you will require just a teeny bit of conversion to run those with Savage Worlds. Uh, but I literally mean that in terms of a tiny bit of conversion. Like because like the way those adventures are written, the only thing you need to adjust is the difficulty number for certain kinds of tests. And that's it because the rest of the adventures port straight over. So you could sit down and start running Hannibal today with the Savage Worlds Omnibus, and all you would need to bear in mind is, all right. So when it says a difficulty number 5 here, you just need to adjust that for the equivalent difficulty number uh, for Suede.
Savage Worlds.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an image that has several of the products and the covers. You want to walk us through what we're seeing here?
Yeah. So one of the things of I wanted to do it with the Savage Worlds Omnibus, but couldn't get away with it due to printing costs, was that we like to give alternate covers. Um, and so you're looking at the general theme for the covers here. And to make Suede stand out a bit, we're actually gone away from this particular kind of cover style with a mecha head. Instead, we wanted to present something on the Suede cover, which I think I sent to you as well.
Now, let me see
Um,
this one. Yes.
yep, we wanted to present something where we wanted to clearly show that this was all of Robotech. So we picked probably one of my favorite art pieces ever, and have put it there with the intention to show to anyone that this is this is not just one saga. You're not getting just Macross, not getting just Moss Peter. You're getting everything combined. It's all been built and balanced and written together, so it all should blend seamlessly. And so you don't get any
Awesome.
jarring transition between, okay, so I picked up my Macross book, now it's time to pick up my Suede book, and hang on, when I pick up the Master Saga version of Savage Worlds, are all of my mechas suddenly, like, all their toughness is quadrupled, or in some
Yeah.
cases, like, down to 0? Why are there all these new strange setting rules that I now have to remember alongside these other ones? Like, for operating these different weird mecha. Like, no, 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 all in one. That was the
Awesome.
goal.
I love this piece. Like this is Robotech here for me. Like the Veritech fighter, and just as someone pointed out earlier, missile swarms.
Missile
Yeah,
swarms.
Ted
Yep.
pointed out missile swarms with multiple exclamation points. Correct.
Which, hey Ted, you like missile swarms? So we've got rules specifically in the omnibus for basically representing the mass swarms of missiles that some of these mecha are capable of firing.
Awesome.
Actually, pretty awesome rules. I was reading them the other day. I kind of fell in love. But yeah, this art piece was one where I was desperate to get it for a
Yeah.
couple of reasons. Mostly because it is first things first. It is everything Robotech. There is something here from every saga,
Yes.
uh, including the Sentinels and Shadow a little bit with the YF4 in the foreground being a bit of a extra kind of material thing. But it was also a case of while I really like this one, my boss doesn't.
Oh no.
But the funny thing is, there you got the SDF3 in the background, and this is just a little bit of trivia. My artist hates drawing the SDF3. Like he absolutely hates it. I will never convince him to draw it again after this piece. Just because he dislikes it so much, and so does my boss.
Awesome.
But it was the realm of like we have to have it. We have to have it in this
Yeah.
way. And yeah, this is also like a perfect encapsulation of everything as well, and
Oh, agreed.
for Robotech, and I love it. And I've got an edited version where there's even more stuff going on, and it's crazy, but it's a beautiful art piece, and it's probably one of the ones where it's going to be in just about every book I can muster up where it's relevant. Um, and like everything on this page is in the omnibus as well,
Very
except
cool.
for that little pod down there. That's not, but you
I'm giving.
guys don't care about escape pods.
I'm gonna give Cripwright a Benny for the on point Owl City lyric. You can have that Benny for our game tomorrow night. Venkel asks, are Tyroleans playable as a group for one person? Venkel is bringing the deep cuts, and
Venkel
well,
knows his stuff,
he does.
and the
Venkel
answer is
does know his
yes.
stuff.
So the answer is yes. So the we put a lot of effort into expanding out the Tyroleans, and also ensuring that there were rules to play different kinds of Tyroleans. So you can
Awesome.
play as one of the general clones, who basically you're just a slave, or you can play as a commoner, where you're just still an individual person. You have some rights, but you're not treated as well. But you can also play as the triumvirate, the 3-in-1, the triplets who have been basically
That's awesome.
eugenicsed. And so, yeah, the rules are there to allow you to play a group of 3 people. It's very interesting to do roleplay wise, but it's an absolute blast. And you can manipulate the triumvirate rules to do a lot of things fictionally as well as tactically, because you've got essentially 3 bodies now carrying 3 different sets of gear,
Yeah,
all using the same skill set. You can really make a very in combat, for example. You can be crazy versatile. You just have to manage how your constituent bodies are working, which is a lot of fun.
man,
Um,
Justin, this is my favorite part about doing Savage Universe is that I get to talk with people and they'll be like, "Well, this is where I'm spending money as soon as it goes live," because you're hitting like all of the points that make me excited about Robotech. And like Ted says, love it. Cool news. Played a lot of the Palladium systems. I ran multiple Robotech games with the Palladium system, and to once again have something that I fell in love with Palladium, and then be able to play it with Savage Worlds is just wow. So when
yeah,
is
yeah.
the when do you think the pledge manager is going live so we can pre-order the omnibus?
Probably a week or two, perhaps even a month. Unfortunately, it's chaos right now. Immediately after the Kickstarter, because we're trying to get all these systems into place. We're trying to get the pledge manager up. People are on vacation right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
slowing things down. I'm here trying to manage all the art while still trying to finish writing uh, 2 of these books that were only about maybe 50 to 90% done in the case of the Savage Worlds Omnibus. It's like I'm because I'm going through right now and I'm converting all the old stat lines we had to function with the heavy metal rules in the
Awesome.
sci-fi companion. And while that's not a very time consuming process, it's one of those numerous things that I have to juggle. So I'm gonna give you a firm maybe a month at best, um, on when that pledge manager will go up.
Well, when it goes up,
Hopefully
shoot me
sooner.
an email and I will write an article for Savage Universe so that we can let everyone know who missed it. Hey, now it's open. You can order your Robotech Omnibus.
Excellent, excellent. I will do that 100%.
Now, what's this Void and Fire art piece that you sent me? I assume this is for your house
So this is
system.
for our system, but one of the things I wanted to establish from the beginning in the case of Savage Worlds and its relationship with the rest of our product lines is that I wanted these cases to be Savage Worlds Omnibus has all the rules you need. But the sacrifice of that is that we do have to sacrifice, well, some things, some lore.
Right.
But for anyone who's looked at the Sci-Fi Companion, it's really easy to build things like with the Savage World rules. Like you can put together a mecha in reasonably 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy easy. And so we have all these other books that I wanted to share and put out because they're heavy on the lore information in case you particularly want that for you want to see what some of the things are. And so this case is Void and Fire was produced for us, and it's by one of my friends, and it's entirely just starships. It's an entire
Oh, awesome.
book, just nothing but naval information, naval stats, numbers, fleet dispositions, deck plans, all that. And that I feel is of real value to everyone, no matter what system our players are using, because it's that vital information that helps you build out the role play.
Well, and John
Um,
Doom's all about navel gazing, so this is the
yeah,
book for him.
it is. And with the sci-fi companion, uh,
Yeah.
just converting the rules over is really easy. One of the things that has made our life so easy is that we actually built ourselves a tool in a Excel spreadsheet, and we actually just plug in our stats uh, from our 86 game, and it automatically converts them over to Savage World stats.
Oh, that's slick. Are
And
you going to
so
make that that spreadsheet available to Savage Worlds
we
fans?
probably will, yes, because
Yes.
it's an excellent tool to let you guys go forth and build out the bits that you're missing or the bits that you specifically want that we
Oh,
couldn't
that's
include or are
fantastic.
coming soon or eventually to give that level so that you can actually tell the stories that you want to tell as GMs and players.
That's fantastic. Well, Justin, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. I cannot wait for to be able to pre-order the Omnibus. And do you have any estimates of about when you're thinking delivery will happen, or is that still far enough out that you don't want to commit to anything?
Okay, I'm not going to commit to anything because it is
Totally
far
fair. I
far out,
understand how
but
that goes.
I can give you a rough timeline and tell you some things that will happen along the way to it. For example, the PDF will be done well and truly before the physical books, and there will be multiple versions of the PDF as we go for playtesting and then being delivered. And they'll PDFs be delivered easily because shipping right now is hell, and I don't expect shipping times nor costs to get easier nor cheaper between now and delivery. So while what we're sticking with is still maybe 6 months after our other books, it is a case of we could get it done earlier, we could get it done later. Um, it's on track right now, and as soon as we can, we will have playtest PDFs up uh, on samples of what the interior of the book will look like. So we will have those sample copies going out as things get ready, so that people can actually start playing as soon as they can.
Awesome. And then I assume there's more, hopefully, Savage Worlds Robotech in the future.
Absolutely. So like I said before, our partners at Battlefield Press will be taking over, and I'll just be helping them out on a very side managerial role, but they've got some excellent writers. And some of the things they've initially said that they want to immediately touch up on is, of course, a follow-up to the Omnibus, which delivers more on the space content for the greater galaxy beyond the conflicts and scenarios on Earth. And one of the things they particularly wanted to have on their mind was a Zentradi focused
Oh, very cool.
splat book, which covered more of them and focused more on Zentradi available materials and rules and scenarios for Savage Worlds. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Justin, thanks for taking time out to talk Robotech with us. Always a pleasure to chat with a fan and a Savage Worlds creator. And seriously, as soon as the Pledge Manager goes live, shoot me an email. We'll get it up on Savage Universe to let everybody know.
Absolutely. I really enjoy working with Savage Worlds. It's great.
You know what? I'm glad. I do too. It is a great joy of my life to be able to do this show and just talk with people who are excited about making stuff for Savage Worlds. And it's a great gig.
Yeah. I got to hold my back from like diving too far into to rules and shit, because like the temptation is there for me. I could talk about like the game and the world for hours. And
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. You're the kind of person that we like to see on projects like this, because it means that not only do you have a deep and abiding love of the property and are going to do your best to cleave to that, but you're also looking for ways to make it mechanically interesting for a game that you like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the goal, to give you a Robotech experience, but also a multitude of Robotech experiences. Yeah. And like we've all played the Palladium one, and we've had that experience, and that's still a great experience.
It is.
And we're in the realm of, cool, you've had that experience. So what can we give you that's different with Savage Worlds? What can we give you that's different with 86? For different kinds of role plays and different kinds of storytelling.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, I know you're starting your day off in Australia. So we'll wrap this up next week, hoping to be talking to the guys who are behind the Swagtember bundle. And so we'll see you next week. Until next time, go out and play some Savage Worlds. Go watch Robotech, and may all your dice ace. Until next time, have a good one, everybody.